Hey, welcome to Let's Go. Today we're coming to you all the way from the state of Virginia, specifically from Blackstone, Virginia. So, you ready? Let's go. This specific area where we're at today is where the Battle of Blackstone was fought, and it was also called the Battle of the Grove. A friend of mine had earlier in the day had taken me to one of the sites where they had this board and showing all the battles and the progression that led to the specific one and where it led after that. And all I could do is I was sitting there in our car that he was taking us there, and I was just looking it over and looking at all the dots that was on this plaque of showing where all the battles were at. And I sat there and I just sat there looking at it, really saddened, because all I could think of was this is where America took arms against America, where America was fighting, Americans were fighting Americans. And I thought, how sad that something drove them to this. And as you look through history, you think, surely that didn't happen, but it did. And sometimes we don't think about it. Sometimes I think we look at history and we just think, oh, it's nothing, but history repeats in multiple different ways. Well, there's something a little farther up I want to show you. This house was made in 1865, and it was also used as an officer's hospital for the war, specifically for the Battle of Blackstone, or the Battle of the Grove. Now, though the house has gone through many renovations, it still has much of the same wood within it. Matter of fact, the flooring is still the same hardwood floor, and it's also, I got to see lots of the joists underneath in the basement, all the original wood. It was really cool. But when I was told it was used as a hospital. Now remember, back then, a hospital, yes, it was made for their people, but they would try to help both sides. Whoever was wounded, they helped them both. And I was thinking about this. I'm going, this house was used as a hospital. All I could think of was what Paul said to us in the book of Galatians chapter 5. If you keep on biting and devouring each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. Please look at these words closely. Let me read it one more time. If you keep on biting and devouring each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. So, who won the Civil War? America. But who lost the Civil War? America. You see, having disagreements is one thing, but in the body of Messiah, fighting over disagreements is, well, meaningless. You know, if someone disagrees with you, it's okay. If it's something that you really feel passionate about, present what you believe in love and pray for them. You know, we already have an adversary. We don't need more enemies. We're all on the same team. The ultimate goal is to what? Seek truth, pursue truth, walk in truth. So know and understand that if someone disagrees with you, it's not like they're battling you. It's just they see something different than you. And if you really feel that they're wrong, pray for them. We don't go to war against our brothers and sisters. And maybe it's a topic that would be divisional, if you will. Maybe it's a topic that's just, oh man, they're just totally wrong. But even then, they're not your enemy. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. These are people. We need to pray for them. Again, we already have an adversary. We don't need more enemies. Pray for them. We are to pray for them. Now right in here, this is where the Northern Army actually settled, right in this ravine. For this battle, this whole ravine is where they would settle in. Now you don't see it very well, but there's actually a creek that runs right along inside that bed there. Now if I circle around here, you can see, I'm hoping you can see it anyway, right up on that hillside, that is where the house is at, right up there. And as I mentioned, it's like back then, the hospitals of the day of the war would work on both men, both sides of the armies, if you will, both sides of the war. If you were of the northern hospital and they brought in someone from the south, you would work on them. You would try to save them, help them on both sides. That's how it would work out. The sad thing is, it's like all too often this doesn't happen in the body of Messiah today. It's like the body of Messiah is ignoring the words of Paul in Galatians chapter 5. One verse previous from where we read earlier. It says the entire law is summed up in a single command. Love your neighbor as yourself. Now here I am, down here where the Northern Army had settled. And actually I'm seeing that creek right here. You can't see it in the midst of all these weeds. But the creek is right here, and the Army was settled right all over in this area. And this is where they would devise their plans of how to defeat the other side. The goal was to conquer, to bring unity by conquering. In fact, I'm told somewhere back here in these woods, there's a big cannon still left behind from those days. I'm not going to venture back there, it's kind of thick right now. But again, the goal was to bring unity through conquering. And all too often, I see that same mentality in the body of Messiah today. To conquer by bringing everybody, to show everybody that is, that you're right, they're wrong. But what if, just what if we spent all that time that is used to argue and to debate to pray for one another instead, to put the arguing and debating aside and to pray for one another? Is that not what it means to truly love your neighbor as yourself? John 13, a new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. So are we really loving one another if we're fighting and debating constantly to see who's right, who's wrong? Is it loving one another to defeat your brother and showing him he's wrong? Shouldn't we be praying for them, caring for them? If we were truly wrong, wouldn't you want somebody to be praying for you? Yes, you would. Therefore, we should love our brothers and sisters and praying for them if we are truly caring for them. Think of it this way. Do you like being proven wrong? Of course not. No one likes to be proven wrong. Why? Because, well, it's embarrassing. And no one likes to be embarrassed. It's kind of like, well, the Old Outhouse here. It's an embarrassing situation at times, right? You have to have your privacy. Well, the thing is, whenever we try to set out to prove someone wrong, we don't realize we're setting out to embarrass them. That's what you're doing. Now, I know it's not the end result, it's not your goal, it's not your end goal, but that's the end result. So surely there are better ways to bring someone to the truth, to help them see the truth, besides arguing and fighting and trying to prove them wrong. Well, in closing, this barn here was also made in 1865, along with the house. And over the years, this barn has housed who knows how many different tools for how many different kinds of jobs. And in that same principle, when you meet someone who disagrees with you on something or differs with you in the scriptures, it's our obligation, I believe, to search through all that we have in our barns, if you will, to find that right tool that will reach out to them. Don't just be a bulldozer and just plow them over. Find that loving way to reach out to them with the truth. I mean, think of it. Do you want someone coming at you in a harsh way, or do you want them to share the truth in love? Of course, you want them to share with you the truth in love. It's like the verse says, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. So remember, share the truth in love. Go through your barn. Find that right tool that's the best for them. Share it in love. Maybe it's just planting a seed here or planting a seed there, watering a seed. Whatever it takes, do it in love with how you would want to be treated. That's the key thing, how you would want to be treated. And if you know that they're not going to receive it the same way, then find out how they will receive it. If you know someone has this mentality or this mentality, they need to have it hard or they need to have it soft, that's what you need to do. Do your homework to find out what's the best way for them. It's like going fishing. This is not in my notes at all, but it's like with going fishing. If you're going to go fishing for a certain fish, you're going to find the certain lure that will attract them. The same way, if you know a certain person receives things a certain way, then that's your obligation to know how to reach out to them. Do it in love and care and concern and prayer. Don't battle them. Pray for them. Care for them. Reach out for them in a way that they know you really care about them and not that you're just trying to prove them wrong. That's the issue. Well, that's all I have. Think about it. Pray about it. But more than anything, be a doer of the word and not a hearer only. Until next time, shalom.